Well, hi. It's been a minute since the last time I was up here. Ash and I were down at a workshop last week. We were not the leaders, we were the participators, along with others. And I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but I've had psychedelics a few times in my life. And so this particular weekend was about breathing in a way that had you have a psychedelic experience. It's called holotropic breath work. In fact, Ash is getting trained in it so she can bring it here. And so we go down there. And to be honest, since I've done psychedelics more than a few times, I didn't expect much. But what happened was I had this extraordinary trip. In this, it started out with me dancing a lot because I was having a really good time, and then all of a sudden I saw the universe, the entire universe, and then I heard a voice say, "It is not infinite," and it changed into it's eating its own tail. And I said, okay, but how does this relate to us as people? And the voice said, take care of each other. And then the next thing that happened was I saw a diamond-shaped sun and it was raining flowers. I mean, it doesn't really get cooler than that, It was really fun. I had a really good. Now, not everybody in the room was having as much fun as I was. So I had no idea I was going to open with that today. But there it is, because actually my talk today is on tension. I'm here to talk to you about being tense, tension. I have noticed that many Canadians are conflict avoidant. So are many of my ex-wives. And conflict, tension, pressure, it's built into life. And so when I hear people talk about wanting to avoid it, wanting to somehow get away from it, I think that what gets lost is the fact that it's all about degrees, because nothing, absolutely nothing, happens without tension. If we're going to be completely untense, we would not be able to stand. And the astronauts learned that really good after being in space for a while and coming back and going, whoa, right? It takes tension to stand. But we take that kind of degree of tension for granted. Then we have all these other degrees of tension that we don't take so much for granted. And we're thinking, I want peace in my life. I don't want tension. I don't want pressure. I don't want conflict. When it's going on every second of every day anyway, all we're doing is saying that this is okay, this isn't, drawing lines in places that we might not even know we're drawing them. Or the more important piece is that we have say out of growing our ability to be okay with it. Now, some of my ex-wives might say that I was too okay with conflict and tension. But, this is what's here for us, is how, it is my personal opinion that actually wars happen because people don't know how to be with tension. So they blow up and they start fighting. And then those fightings get bigger until we call them wars. But long before they were wars, they were conflicts and they were tensions that people somehow couldn't be with in a way that allowed for it, allowed for the differences, allowed for the unique ways in which we all show up, in which we all are in the world. Tension's everywhere. A baby trying to stand, tension. Except, babies keep at it. They keep trying. I just started, so Les, right, tells me about this thing called the Spartan obstacle race. And I go, yeah, that sounds really fun. And he's like, well, maybe you ought to work out a little bit at the gym if you're going to try something like that. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go to the gym. And so I go to the gym, and they have me do something as simple as a squat. And I'm like, oh, my God. I was hurting so bad the next day, right? I'm thinking, tension. I need to work on this. I don't want to not do it because there's tension. So now I'm signed up for 2 days a week at the gym. And I'm like, part of me feels like a masochist, and another part's going, no, this is good for me to get more in shape, to be better with tension. Tension's all over in nature, right? I'm out at Elk Island yesterday. I'm out at Elk Island, and there's this spot, there's this lake. It's not Asheton Lake. There's this other lake out there that I hike to, and it is so quiet and so peaceful and so wonderful. And I'm sitting out there in my favorite chair that they have there, and nobody else was sitting in it, so I'm sitting in my chair. And all of a sudden, a male and female robin land about 25 feet away from me. And I'm looking out, and they're gorgeous, right? And then the male flies over and is now only 10 feet from me. But the female doesn't join them. And they start chirping at each other. And now you get to be inside the mind of Cliff. Here's a little glimpse. I'm sitting there, and as they're chirping, I'm hearing this conversation. And the conversation goes like this. Look how close I am to the human. I'm only 10 feet away. This is so cool. Come over here and join me. And the woman goes, you're an idiot. You don't get that close to a human. They're dangerous. Come on back over here. Be with me. Be with me over here where it's safe. And the guy's going, no, this is so cool. I'm so close to him, and he's just sitting there. He's not bothering us. You should join me. You should see it from this close. And she goes, if you ever want to have eggs with me, you get back here now. And then they stop chirping at each other. And the robin, the male, goes back to the female. And then they fly off. And as they're flying off, my mind goes, you're no fun. And she goes, you didn't say that last night. So I get home and I say this to Ash, right? I tell her what happened there, and she looks down and she goes, oh, that's way too close to home. Tension. Ash and I have this incredibly dynamic relationship, right? Maybe you couldn't tell. That we're two very dynamic people living in a very small house, with each other all day, just not all day because, we get out and do this and that, but we're in there a lot together. And we have learned to grow our ability to be with tension over 12 years because we're two very dynamic people. I remember very early on Ash saying something along the lines of, I didn't sign up for this, right? And then, obviously, she did. We're still doing this. And so tension, right? It's there all the time. It's there all the time, and all we're doing is either drawing a line and or not. And so, I love you, honey, and I am just so glad that we keep going through whatever it is we need to in our tension to work it out and still be together. And so this is what it is, right? We do things that upset each other. We do things that we think are right and wrong. We draw these lines, boundaries, right? We have all these boundaries. And this is where Ash and I disagree a lot, is around boundaries, because she believes that they're really important and I don't. I think... But, something I've said a lot here is that life is hard. All we're doing is choosing our hard. And this week I thought, some people get really upset that I keep saying life is hard. Why would I want to keep affirming that? So this week, for those of you who are upset about the words life is hard, I came up with life is an opportunity. Right? And what we have is the choice, right? We're constantly choosing which opportunity we want to have. What opportunity do you want to have? Because you're going to have opportunities, right? So I was thinking about how people who believe in boundaries and want boundaries, they have opportunities around that when people cross them. Because if you have boundaries and you're in contact with other people, people are going to cross them. That's going to happen. And you're going to tell people, don't cross my boundary. And then there's a really good shot they're going to cross it again. Right? That's what happens. And so that's the opportunity. It's going to take me a while to get used to the new wording here. That's the opportunity you get when you choose boundaries. When you choose no boundaries, there's other opportunities. Like, you got to be really flexible in life. I mean, you got to learn how to bend in all kinds of different ways to be really flexible. That's another opportunity. So you get to choose which one you like best. It's not like either one's easier. If you choose boundaries, there'll be tension. If you choose no boundaries, there'll be tension. We're going around all the time saying, I'm choosing this because this will be less tension. And I'm here to say, no. Everything brings opportunities whichever way you go with this. That's just one example, right? There's tons of examples in life all the time around which way we want to choose, which opportunity we think is a better fit for us. What I noticed over the past 15 years is my personal choices around opportunities have more come from whether it's mine to do or not. It's a deeper place. It's no longer a preference or I think this is easier. I'm really clear there's no easier. There's just opportunities. So it isn't about making a choice that's going to be an easier way to go, though, a teacher of mine once said very clearly that we are built into our psyches is this thing of choosing the path of least resistance. That our tendency is to do that. And so when we do that, that's the choice we've made, and it's many times it's unconscious. Choosing the path of least resistance. And so once you get into the habit of what is mine to do, is this mine to do, and especially is this mine to do now, then all of a sudden sometimes those choices that are coming up are not the path of least resistance. They're tougher choices. Emotionally, spiritually, physically. There's nothing physically comfortable about going to the gym. Has anybody here found the gym comfortable, like ever? Well, okay, good for you. We have a winner. No. Well, in a room of this many people, there was bound to be somebody who actually, and I'm not saying you don't love the gym. This isn't about what we love, because actually that's what you want to do. You want to go towards what you love. You want to be drawn. You want to feel that pull. The thing is just because you love it doesn't make it easy. In fact, my personal experience is that it becomes quite the opportunity. So there we are, right? There we are in life, having all these opportunities and allowing sometimes the amount of tension, the degree of tension that whatever the situation will have influence whether we move forward or not, overriding what may be for our highest and best good. that can actually happen. In fact, does all the time. And so how do we breathe into that? How do we relax into that? How do we become the person we want to be to know our highest and best good? I'm out at Right, I was just telling you I was out at Elk Island. So here's the other thing that happened at Elk Island. A couple of things happened at Elk Island, but here's the other one that I want to share now. So I'm sitting there in my favorite chair. I'm so comfortable. It's so quiet. I'm just got the birds and the view, and it's all gorgeous. And there's a part of me thinking, I am never moving. This is it for me. I will stay here for the rest of my days. And at that exact moment, somebody blasted a radio. And I thought to myself, because they were campus, this is a campsite. And so my initial reaction was to do something I would have definitely regretted. Then I calmed down and I started laughing. Well, I first was laughing, then I got pissed, then I started laughing again. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, this is the tension now. This is what's going on now. So I sat there with it for a few minutes. What is mine to do? Move on. So I got up and moved on. Because moving on isn't always the wrong choice, right? I'm not up here saying if there's tension, stay in it. That's like when I was walking across, I was at this, I know I've told this story before, but so you get to hear it again. For those of you who haven't heard it, I was at my first fire walk. About 60-something people walked. About 4 or 5 people got seriously burned. And about 25 others got burns, small burns, what we called kisses at that point. I didn't have a mark on my foot because I listened to what the instructor had said, which is you put your feet at the fire and you only walk if you get a yes, if you get a full body yes. And so I got up to the fire and I said, is this mine to do? And I felt myself being drawn forward. And so I walked and not a mark on my foot. So I decided to go around and interview all the people who got burned. Not a single one who got burned said, I got the yes that it was mine to do. They all said things like, I thought I should. I came all this way to the workshop. I thought I should. Well, all my friends were walking. How could I not walk? I wanted to overcome my fears. That was a biggie. And all those people got burnt. Those are not good reasons to do whatever is in front of you to do. None of those. And normally, if you do it because of one of those reasons, you will get burned. It isn't the tension that's the problem. It's where you're responding from in your life. And when we get to a place of where we're responding from is this deeper part of ourselves. That's when the moves we make actually start making sense in ways that I have never been able to imagine. That's when it becomes really possible to create a life that you didn't even see coming. That you didn't even know. That's what happened to me, right? We can get to that place when we are willing to not be concerned about the tension, but concerned about what is ours to do. And the thing about it is sometimes in our heads, we can drive ourselves crazy. Or am I the only one? Because my head drives me nuts when I listen, right? Or, because it's going to do what it's going to do. I mean, it's almost like this, and my mind is like this entire other entity that just follows me around everywhere. Constantly telling a story about whatever's going on, and then me deciding whether it's making any sense or not. Talk about tension. It's going on right here, all the time. And so when you get better at, it doesn't matter. I know people have meditated for years and decades and said, my mind still isn't quiet. And I've realized I'm not even after the quiet. I'm after the not caring about what it says, not giving it a vote. Letting my body tell me what's mine next to do, instead of going through all the different variations. Right? Tension. It's always there, inside ourselves. And yet there's something else going on here, something larger, something that speaks to us quietly, that doesn't argue, that wants us to know we're okay, even in the tension, wants us to know it's going to be all right, even in the tension, wants us to know that we know what's ours to do at the moment we need to know it. One of the bigger things I've learned in life is not making a decision before my feet are at the fire. No matter how much tension me putting off making that decision is. Because there are others who would rather I made decisions quicker. But by waiting until I know in here what's right for me, then whatever happens, it doesn't guarantee, that's another thing. Just because you do that does not guarantee the greatest result. Like, oh my God, this works out every time. That isn't the point. The point is you did what was right for you to do. And you get into that habit of living that way. And then life unfolds in ways you didn't even imagine. Maybe the thing you thought should have worked out didn't. But that means something else is coming along that's even greater. Because that's how life unfolds. The universe only expands. So far, it doesn't contract. That means that's what's happening with us, because we are the universe. So we are expanding all the time into something larger when we don't fight it, when the tension doesn't get us down, when it doesn't, whether it's in our own heads or whether it's in life. When we're emotionally stressed out, those aren't times to turn around and go, what do I need to do to get rid of the stress? The real question is, what do I need to do to be who I came here to be now? In this. And I believe that is what will make this world a different place, is asking the different question. As long as people are running from or trying to hide in the basement from or wherever they hide to get away from stress, they're relating to life in the way they've always related to it. What makes the change is when we ask the newer question. With all that's going on right now, how crazy it is, how hard it is, with all the things that are not working, what is mine to do now? Can we ask the bigger question of ourselves? You can't really ask anybody else to ask the bigger question. That's part of the tension. That comes with the territory. But as long as all we're dealing with is relieving tension, then we're not shifting anything really. It's just going back and forth like this. There's something bigger here going on all the time, inside each one of us. We have that ability to shift, and every one of us that does, every single one of us that does, makes this planet a better place. What is mine to do now? That is the bigger question all the time. And your body knows. Your body knows no matter what else is going on. And when you can hold there in the tension and be that, you become something greater than what you've been. And I know that for each and every one of you here. Thank you. I love you.